thank you very much for having me. Very much appreciate it. I'm going to pull out my watch here because I'm supposed to have 5 or 6 minutes, and I do want to just take actually 2 or 3 to introduce myself formally, and then I'd like to ask you if you have a question or 2 before I get off. But first of all, I'm Dean Florez. I'm a state senator. I'm in my last 2 years in the state senate. I do want to let you know that I'm probably the oldest person on the state senate floor in terms of the amount of time I've spent on the state senate. I went to work for Art Tours way back in 1987 as a staffer for Art Tours right out of UCLA. And of course our party chair was very kind. I worked many years for him. I got sent to all sorts of campaigns, and believe it or not, I got sent to the first losing campaign of Joe Baca in this area when he ran the first time. So it's been a long time since I've come back here, but I've done a lot of campaigns, if you will, for Art Tours. Of course, Art went on to be our party chair. I actually left the state senate as a staffer and decided to go back to school, step out of politics for a bit. And so I actually went back and got my MBA at Harvard Business School, and then found my way back to California, and then found my way back to my little town of Shafter, California, where I live. And this is in the Central Valley. You probably know this is one of the reddest counties there is. You should know that in the state senate, if you go down the Grapevine and you hit the Hone Ranch sign, you won't hit another Democrat till you get to Stockton, and I'm right in the middle of that. So you should know that I'm very used to being in red counties. In fact, it's probably a county where people scratch their head and they look at my Senate district and they say, Bush wins that, Darrell Issa wins that when he runs statewide, but Dean Florez wins. How does that happen? And I can tell you that it happens because we have a very, very active Central Committee. We started with just a few members when I began my quest for state assembly. You should know when I ran, this assembly seat was a Republican seat, had always been with Republicans, and I was the first Democrat to win that seat back for the Democrats. And we've held that seat. And the 30th Assembly District now is still in Democratic hands, and ironically enough, the candidate to hold that seat this year in November is my mother, Fran Florez. And if my mom were here, she would tell you that she was the first public elected official in our family, and that she actually runs the whole Florez operation, which she does, just to let you know that. So she's running for the State Assembly. I think she's going to win that seat. It's the most contested seat in the State Assembly in November. It is a very slim margin in terms of Democrats to Republicans because it is in a very red county, but we're very much looking forward to getting her in the State Assembly. And I can tell you that I never thought I'd be, if you will, living with my mom again in Sacramento if she wins. So as you kind of move on and go forward. In the State Senate, I'm very fortunate to serve with Gloria Negrete-McLeod. She's a very, very good, strong member. And, Gloria and I sit on a lot of committees together. One of the committees that she sits on, I'm the chair of the GO committee, which is a government organization committee. It's the committee that oversees Indian tribes, racetracks, casinos, the state lottery, you name it, alcohol, beverages, every vice there is. This is the vice committee. So Gloria and I both sit on that committee every Tuesday and every other Tuesday, and so we have an opportunity to spend a lot of time with each other. She's a very good representative. Of course, I'm always glad to work with Joe Baca and the folks that have come from this area. I feel very close to them, know them. But at the end of the day, I'm running for lieutenant governor in a couple of years, and the reason I'm coming here early is just to get to say hello to you. I think one of the things that used to bug me as a Central Committee member in Kern County before I ran was candidates that came in about 6 months or 5 months before the election and said, my name is something, and I'm running for treasurer or controller or insurance commissioner, and I would like to establish a relationship with your particular club for the next 2 years. So I would encourage you to ask me where I need to be, where I need to go, and I understand that the orange show always brings the rain, so I'll remember that. And I think I might have a hearing on that because that Native American land and that rain must mean something here as I'm talking to some folks. But you know, I am very thankful to be here tonight. I do very much appreciate just saying hello to you. I know you have a very important meeting. I won't interrupt that. I will simply say that the budget is our biggest issue here thus far in the state. You know, the governor put out a very odd proposal about the lottery. It was even odder because he took my bill, which actually talked about improving the lottery, modernizing the lottery, and he said we're going to use the Florez bill in order to issue debt for the next 30 years, so you and I and our kids and our grandkids pay for that, so the governor can get out of his budget mess for 2 years, and then we're right back in the same mess 2 years from now. Our proposal was very simple. Our lottery proposal, the bill he took, would have done the following: would have modernized the lottery, took the extra revenue and put it back into schools, because as you know, not enough money goes into schools from the lottery. And then we would have taken the extra revenue to create what we call a California Higher Education Endowment, much like Stanford and USC. And if you put that $15 billion the governor just created to pay the debt into an endowment, we actually know that endowments can grow, they make good investments, and ultimately we want to cut tuition in half for every single kid going to college, UC and CSU. And for us, that seems like a much wiser investment if you're going to improve the lottery. And let's face it, that's what voters might vote for. They're not going to go to vote to give the governor changes in the lottery that expand the lottery in ways where we don't want them expanded, and only to pay debt off so the governor can get out of his term and say, I never raised taxes. So the Democrats in our House, you should know, are really holding the line. We've already put this lottery proposal away. And our ultimate answer is to do the following, and that is, if you think about this, I was talking to Senator Steinberg just yesterday about this proposal, and I said, I think what we need to do is take, and just follow me, and this is not a proposal yet, but you'll hear more about it, is that take the 7% sales tax we have now and lower it to 4%. So we stimulate business, we stimulate production, people in the state of California get a bit of relief, and Senator Steinberg goes, okay, now we're losing money now in a bad budget, so what do we do? And I think what we're going to do, if you think about it, we need to spread the 4% then in a flat manner across more types of items that we are currently not taxing. If you think about California, our state was a durable goods, property-based state 30 or 40 years ago. Today we're a service-based economy. Most of what we do today are services. And yet most of the services today are absolutely not taxed whatsoever. So if someone is fixing your computer at home and they say it's $40, it's $40. If you're getting your hair cut, they say it's $12 and it's $12. If someone is doing a service for you and yet walking away, what is happening in the state is we are taxing a declining base of property tax and durable goods, and we don't do that in California anymore. So you wonder why we're in budget messes. It's our tax structure is absolutely not taxing the right items. Now I can tell you that if we lowered the sales tax to 4% and spread that 4% across more services and goods and property, just as we do now, we would actually have, believe it or not a $101 billion budget, but a $130 billion budget, just by that small change. So I'm just saying a few things about that to pique your interest. We start to think about that a little bit, but if we're ever going to solve our budget mess, we have to begin to have a tax structure that reflects California's economy, not a tax structure that reflects California's economy 40 years ago. And that's the absolute reason we can't get out of this budget mess. It isn't a spending problem, as the governor said. It is an absolute mismatch in terms of what we do and how we tax things. So I hope that you will think about that for a moment. I want you to know that there are people in the legislature, Democrats particularly like myself, who can read income statements and balance sheets and understand and debate with the governor's finance people. When I worked for Art Torres, I spent 4 years on the Budget and Fiscal Review Committees for Senator Torres, so I'm very well aware of what the problem is. And I hope that you'll follow us as we move through this process. And I do want to thank you very much for having me. Very much appreciate the time, and we will absolutely see you again. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, this is a shout out to the Mojave Desert Democratic Club. Keep working out there. We're about ready to turn the corner, and we absolutely have to think about alternative energy, and we have to think about having a strategy where our tribes, our Democratic Party, and the land mass that we have here is of a value to California. So let's keep working on that.